Morning, everyone. My name is Fred Schmidt. I'm going to share some stuff on the youth mission trip, and we're also going to watch a little video here shortly. I wanted to just share some things that we did over the course of the week. I will encourage you, if you want to hear the full story, you talk to the youth one-on-one, okay, or a group, whatever. Get them off to the side at church on Sunday morning and ask them what happened, things that God taught them, and those type of things. Here's a passage I just want to read that comes to my heart many times. God's been gracious enough to allow me to be a part of 4 different youth mission trips over the years. And this passage from Isaiah 55, 8 through 11, I'm going to read to you right now. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor my ways your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return there without watering the earth, and making it bear and sprout, and furnishing seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so my word be which goes forth from my mouth, it will not return to me empty, without accomplishing what I desire, and without succeeding in the matter for which I sent it." So we were able to partner with a couple ministries in San Antonio, and with the purpose of kind of showing the youth and the leaders also just different ways ministry can happen. In a city in San Antonio, a lot different than Newton, Kansas, but with a lot of the same needs that Newton, Kansas has. Things that we did, we were able to work with an inner city ministry and do like a street camp for 4 days. And that was actually a new location that we went to that hadn't been any other organization going there in a while, and they actually really appreciated it through it. We were also able to, worked at a food pantry one day, and me and Elias were packing a lot of produce that day and putting them in cars. And also we did some other kind of yard work and stuff in an area of the city called the Glen. So if you want to hear more, again, I ask you to talk to youth one-on-one, or any of the leaders that went also one-on-one. But we're going to show a video here. And I have, a lot of our youth are gone this morning because it's summertime and people go on vacations at this time of the year. And so we did something a little differently. We had those that wanted to share. We recorded them and we put them on a video. So we're going to show the video, and then at the end, Elias will come up and share a couple things also. I do want to just, I'm encouraged by how well the team worked together and the work that they did. And you have a great group of youth in this church that are moving up, and I'm excited for what's going to happen next. So I'm going to allow, Jarrett, if you want to put the video on.
So just a little background on the apartment complex where we did the VBS. It was government funded, so it wasn't the nicest, you could say. There was a lot of rundown buildings, broken glass, trash, things like that. So our first day visiting there, we actually picked up the area where we would be hosting the VBS and just made it more welcoming for the kids. We mowed, picked up trash, just things like that. And after we did that, we went on a prayer walk. And, as you walk, you could just feel the heaviness of the broken people living there. And it was just very heavy. And so I went home back to the church and I prayed for that brokenness that I had felt. And, each day I just prayed for that. And our first day actually doing the VBS, as the kids came in, you could just see the little bit of hope that they got from knowing that there were people out there that cared and loved them. And as the week went by, the kids just got more eager and more excited and more hopeful and more joyful. And it was just really amazing to see this place that was so broken to get this newfound hope and joy from God. And that was just really amazing for me to see. And it was very overwhelming to see because it was just it's just amazing. God's just amazing. And Psalms 34:18 says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." I believe that we, as a youth group in Agora, we all got to see and be a part of the beginning of the journey of God, of fixing these broken hearts and renewing these crushed souls. And it was very amazing for me to see that, and it was very eye-opening just to see a place that didn't really have a lot going for them, just have that opened up to.
You spoke a word and life began. Told oceans where to start and where to end. You set in motion time and space, but still you come and you call to me by name. But still you come and you call to me by name. If you can know the stars in place, you can know my heart the same. Whenever I fall away, whenever I start to break. So here I am, lifting up my heart to the one who holds the stars. The deepest depths, the darkest nights, can't separate, can't keep me from your sight. I get so lost, forget my way, but still you love and you don't forget my name. If you can know the stars in place, you can know my
Each day like anything can happen. Can't hardly wait to see what's next. I wanna face this world with wonder and excitement. Face every challenge every day.
Whenever I fall away, whenever I start to break. So here I am, lifting up my heart. If you can calm the raging sea, you can calm the soul in me. You're never too far away, you never show up too late. So here I am, lifting up my heart to the one who holds the stars. Your love has called my name. What do I have to fear? What do I have to fear? Your love has called my name. What do I have to fear? What do I have to fear? If you can know the stars in place, you can know my heart the same. Whenever I fall away, whenever I start to break. So here I am, lifting up my heart, lifting up my. If you can calm the raging sea, you can calm the soul in me. You're never You're the one who holds the stars.
Mission trip, we were able to do a food drive with the church that we were staying at, and we were able to feed 154 families. And then the day after that, we had a really cool prayer time, and I was able to grow in Christ because of that and with my walk with Him. And it was pretty cool to see the effects after that.
Hi everybody. I just wanted to talk about how cool this trip was and how I think God taught everybody a lot of cool stuff and stuff we needed to know. One of my favorite things was when we went to the apartment complex and did the prayer walk for the kids and for the VBS, and then also when we were ministering to the kids and spending time with them and teaching them about God and just getting to know them. And one of my favorite things was when there were 3 little girls who really got attached to me, and it was just so awesome because I got to see that I was making a difference in their lives. Even if it wasn't huge, they still wanted to spend time with me and recognize me when I saw them. And I could tell they were learning something. Even though it was really small, I could tell they were listening to the stories and seeing that there are people who love them. So I think that's it.
No, he didn't put a credit on there. Jared Schmidt put that video together, so let's give him a quick round of applause. Yeah, so it was super exciting. Just to be brief, I'm Elias Martinez. I work alongside Fred and Mindy. Hannah and I work alongside them to lead the youth, and this was a great time. And I just want to thank you for your support, your prayer, your encouragement, and just encourage you guys that you have a great youth that's coming up underneath you. But we still need to hear. I think one of the biggest, a big takeaway for our team is just we got to plug into ministries that were already in place. And one of the things that they're really big about is not just doing a one-time appearance and then you do a flashbang and then you go away and you never see them again. So one of the things that was encouraging is, though this was a new area that we opened up in with the VBS, there's a team that's going to be going back there regularly. So we were just opening the door with more manpower so that now the team that's established, it's a little bit smaller, has the relationship established so that they can go back and continue to provide that ministry. And that's kind of one of the big things that I think is exciting, and also something to learn is that we get, sometimes in ministry, we get so focused on wanting to be to the end goal. We want to have the big group. We want to have the 2,000 pounds of food, or I mean, it was way more than 2,000 pounds. I only loaded 2,000 pounds of potatoes alone. The several thousand pounds of food that we loaded in one day, we see those things, we see those ministries, and we forget. And I think one of the nice things about even the picture where we're all hanging out at the pool, we're just talking about how the team there has been working together for over 30 years, just establishing ministry from the ground up. And we kind of forget that side of it, the seeds that were planted in even the Glen. There's a great story that you have to ask some of the youth about Miss Kay and just what her seeds that she's planted there and seeing it, years later. So a verse that I want to share with you guys is John 13:34 through 35 says, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. By this all people will know that you're my disciples, if you have love for one another." So when we did the food distribution, that's how we started our day off. The guy who leads that team gathered us all up, and they have a really well-oiled machine, and we were a little bit concerned of jumping in and messing it up, but the thing that he started out with, he didn't say work hard. He didn't say have a good attitude. He didn't say do your best, only have fun. He said, look, you have to know that the people that are coming here are going to see us. And if we don't have love for one another, then it doesn't really matter what we do, or even if we meet a need. They're looking at us and they're seeing if we have love for one another. So regardless of the mistakes that happen, regardless of what's taking place, they need to see that we have love for one another. That's how they're going to know that you're my disciples. And that took me back, because I was expecting some speech or some instructions. Then he was like, all right, go. And so we broke up, but that's really what it was about. I mean, this whole week was about having love for one another as a team. There was hard points, there was high points, there was low points, but that's really what it is as a church, even to have love for one another and recognize that the world around is looking at how we treat each other as a body, as believers. And that's our testimony. One of the biggest testimonies that I've never considered ministry, but having a clean yard was like something we did, and doing yard work and just showing the people around like, hey, I love you. I want my neighborhood to be good for your children, and just having love for one another. That's my encouragement for you guys. That's what we learned. We learned a lot as a team. We learned a lot as a leadership team. But I think one of the biggest things that we were challenged is to put aside our differences for a little bit and show the world that we are truly his disciples by our love for one another. So thanks for your prayer. Thanks for your support. And I'm excited to keep the ball rolling.